See you down the road at Chainscrape, Aloy. I'll handle it from here. I'll make sure Wadis goes to Chainscrape.
I'm called in to learn how to ride machines. I'll keep some extra on hand. It's a dead machine. It must be a bristleback. It must be Chainscrape. Drew said I could get my bow upgrade in there. Might be able to tinker with my other gear, too.
Outlander approaching. Is that the Savior? Wanna come in, Savior?
Welcome to Chainscrape, Savior.
Open up, guys. Jorv's orders.
Good enough for me.
By the Forge.
Petra?
Aloy, what are you doing here? About time there was something worth looking at in this dump.
It's nice to see you, too.
And not a moment too soon. Come on. Damn brewery's the only thing I can count on in this place.
Yeah, I heard. Machines, work stoppage.
Oh, those are just the latest malfunctions. Chainscrape's always been a few tools short of a kit. And right there is the biggest tool of all.
Our land, not our problem. The bristlebacks are everybody's problem.
Roland?
You've heard of him,
Yeah.
but he's a story best told over a cold beer.
Petra. I'm just passing through. I'm headed west.
Oh,
There's an embassy at Barren Light I need to make happen, and then I keep moving.
ah, of course. Bigger gears to grind. Well, Flamehair, good to see you. You've got to move on.
Petra.
But if you want a cold beer and a few laughs with an old friend, come find me at the brewery. Your choice.
Well, this old one guy sounds like trouble. Maybe Petra could use some support. But first things first, I need to find that workbench and upgrade my bow.
last night? Beer's watered down. Proper survey of the valley. Laughing at me. You already got mad. Anyone
If you call a few
my
scribbles on
drink?
a piece of paper,
Anyone, sure. Anyone!
okay, shoot. What's this? Proper survey?
I don't know. Something that marks the highs and lows. We are on the same side here, Horizion. The bristleback threaten us all.
Oh, drop the act. We all know it was the Carja who let the bristlebacks into the valley. Sent them straight through the gates of barren light.
That
So, are you new to the dog?
why we let dangerous people...
What did I do?
Workbench is free if you need to tinker with the...
Why don't you bring that bony ass of yours over here and say that again?
I hear you.
You! I know you see me.
You old scrounger!
Where did I put my shoe? Never met a beer I didn't like. Or couldn't finish. Oh, there it is. There it is.
How am I supposed to work with a hammer in this state?
Cool. Till Alvin blows that whistle, no one's working it.
So he asked, did you mean this? And he showed me a flathead.
Rob's finest work machine. Okay.
This should be useful.
Tinkering with one hammer isn't
Now
gonna
I just
do
need to
it.
find Aaron and help him clear the bristlebacks.
Unless Alvin and his cronies hear about
Gotta keep going.
it,
Sorry.
leave me be.
Nothing today.
I'll make my pocket. We'll see about that.
Round!
Good day for some forging, wouldn't you say? Oh, hey, I haven't seen you around before. I don't think.
Oi, you're that Nora machine hunter.
This'll all blow over. Yes, sir.
Fine day for poor singing, I say. Smartest man ever stand exactly. Now when this is finished. Huh? I thought you had a black eye.
You want to take over? No?
Bit busy now, but we'll talk soon.
Hey, Mildef. Mildef. I took some of your stew last time I went into the wilds. Kept me going for a week. Felt like I could have put a strider in a sleeper hold.
Enjoy it while it lasts.
Sounds like you're serving up some impressive provisions here.
Not again. You can have the discount too, but you'll have to come back later.
I think you have me confused with someone else.
Oven didn't send you?
No.
Oh, my apologies. It's just that his minions won't stop pestering me. Now I've even worn out my special grill. Since I'm in the midst of a crisis, perhaps you could skip to what it is you wanted?
Some of your food?
Of course.
Are Ulvin's people causing you problems?
Oh, yeah. They constantly demand my best, but the equipment I need to make my signature dishes isn't built for batch cooking. And don't get me started on the Ulvin discount they feel so entitled to.
And if you refuse?
I make meals, no trouble.
Your last customer mentioned your cooking really kept him going out in the wild. Where I'm headed, I could use some of that.
I would be happy to oblige, especially since you have the decency to ask pleasantly.
But
my special groove griddle is no more. Without it, I can't cook any of my signature dishes. I hate to think what'll happen when I'm forced to refuse Ulvin or his goons. Even if I already had the right ingredients, there's nothing I can do. Unless you can source me a temporary replacement?
What do you need?
For the ingredients, a few pieces of decent wild meat, and I'd say a big handful of bitter leaf stems. That'll do. As for the griddle, a corrugated metal panel might suffice until I can have a new one forged. You'd likely find one in a scrounger pile, if you follow the river to the northeast. Don't worry, I'll clean it first. You'll have no issue finding boars and bitter leaf on your way. Assuming you're as much a hunter-gatherer as your clothing suggests.
Thanks, Mildef. I'll keep an eye out.
So that's what gratitude sounds like.
And don't let anyone push you around, okay?
If you say so. Ah, hello again. How goes your search?
About that. How did you end up in Chainscrape?
Heard about a new and upcoming town at the edge of the frontier. Where there's a town, there's a tavern. I was in need of work. So I got myself out here and started cooking. Some of these people had never tasted proper boars and berries stew before. Anyway, next thing I knew, people kept coming back. Guess they liked my food. Or the ale.
What did you need to make your signature dish?
A corrugated metal panel, for starters. I can use it until I get another groove griddle forged. You could probably pull... And for the dish itself...
I should be going.
Right.
but we'll talk soon.
Sharp as ever.
Ever wonder
Pretty sure it's
what
your
is
round.
keeping the sun up there?
Can't be
Like,
my
really
round.
thought about it.
Bring it back. Walk it up, huh?
Don't I'll drink ya. Hope the cat.
Am I lost, or am I exactly where I'm meant to?
I don't have to say why you like the sound of my voice.
What's wrong with my face?
Red hair is a sign of genius, you know? True.
Ignoring me again?
Finally.
Look, Honora. Must be an exile.
Oh, that's right. Just barreled through a stranger. Ah, finally.
I think I've had too much to drink. Is that a Nora?
How's your mother's leg? Oh, don't worry about it. No harm in it.
Oh, hi!
You! I know you see me!
We are on the same side here, Ulvund. The bristle... What do you want, Ulvund? Some kind of payment?
My dear magistrate, you think I can be bought? If you want that whistle blown, all you have to do is have your soldiers remove the bristlebacks and sign the concession decree. Face it, what other choice do you have?
Hi.
Savior, what auspicious timing. Might we discuss a matter of importance to the Sundom?
We might. Later.
Very well. I shall be waiting.
So, the Savior herself. Walloper of Derval, gutter of youth.
Maybe.
I've heard many tales of your beauty and heroics, my fierce lady warrior. Ulvund Freeholder, at your service. So, what could have dragged you away from the fine silks and wine of Meridian to this smudge of a settlement? Your saviorly attention must be needed elsewhere.
I'm here for the embassy and...
The embassy? Why, by the forge. Ah. Greater gears for greater matters. Guess that means you'll be moving on.
Once I've dealt with any problems around here that need my saviorly attention.
Ah, the bristlebacks, of course. Got to get rid of them if you want that embassy to take place. Well, let's get to it, hey? And off you go.
Not so fast. You don't seem to have a high opinion of the magistrate?
Well, I refuse to play nice to some fancy-robed parchment pusher when my fellow laborers are being bullied, intimidated, and taken advantage of.
How noble of you.
Noble? Ha! Born with a hammer in hand, I was. Nobody handed me anything or dropped opportunity into my lap. Everything I've achieved, I've done on my own.
And where is this hammer now?
The, burden of leadership forced me to set it aside. The Carja risk nothing, while demanding that good Osseram gamble with their lives out there. Someone had to step up and say no more.
You ordered the work stoppage?
Indeed I did. We're laborers, not soldiers. Until the Karja clean up their mess and give us the fair deal we deserve, I'm not risking Oseram lives.
Fair deal? You mean your concession decree?
It's not my decree. It's on behalf of all the good Oseram laborers of this land who do all the back-breaking work, while only the Karja reap the rewards. All we're asking for is the ability to share in this prosperity for a land worked by the people, for the people.
Right. And just how much would be your share?
Only an amount appropriate to my contributions to this community, of course.
If Chainscrape is on Karja land, shouldn't a Karja be in charge? Who appointed you?
The sensibilities of good Oseram folk, of course. You think a Karja can head this whole venture? Ah! The magistrate can barely make the trek from Barren Light without losing a few screws.
So you have no real authority then? People only follow you because you say so. Loudly.
Anyone who has followers has authority. I've been with Chainscrape from the beginning. I mean, I'm practically its founder, and its honest folk know I'm indispensable to its success.
You said you founded Chainscrape. Somehow I doubt that.
Practically founded, I said. I alone saw its potential when it was just a smattering of tents in Barren Light's shadow. I invested in the mine, convinced some friends back home to do the same, and here we are. You could say Chainscrape is what it is thanks to me.
Oh, so you're not just standing around and profiting off everyone else?
Not at all. Sure, I make a little return on my investment here and there, but my main priority, as it was from the beginning, is to look after the well-being of these honest, working Oseram.
Where's the whistle?
Right in the middle of town, but with the threat out there, I'm not endangering innocent Oseram lives.
I'm going to clear out the bristlebacks. And when I'm done, this valley is gonna get moving.
If that's what it takes. Until then, I'll keep looking after the safety of these good folk.
Just be ready to blow the whistle. Better see what that Karja magistrate wanted. I bet he's in the tavern.
Don't you think I forgot? I never forget.
Salutation! I'll tell you the odds when fail first.
Ignoring me again? Didn't expect to see you up in the dark. One drink for others.
Don't you think I forgot? I never forget. I think. Even from a distance.
Where's that Tomago? I have words. I need words for him.
What happened to you?
That damn mine is what happened to me. It won't be the last injury if Olvin keeps shoving those tongs into those tunnels.
What mine?
Northeast of Chainscrape, where the river ends. I told Corvin we should stop when the first cave-in happened, but Olvin probably threatened to cut off our pay. Or worse.
How about you slow down and take me through it? How come Ulvin's in charge? Don't these mines belong to the Karja?
Try telling Ulvin that. He brought in all the backing to get them open. Might as well own them. Fire and spit. You ask him. He owns us as well.
You mentioned you were injured in a cave-in.
Yeah, a couple days ago. That's how I hurt this blasted leg. Corvin and the others were opening a new vein while I was checking on an older one. As soon as their blast hit, the tunnel I was in collapsed. Might have dodged it if I wasn't running on barely a spark of sleep. We were pushing too hard and too fast.
And you're afraid Corvin and the others might not be as lucky if it happens again.
Mm-hmm. Hit the nail right on the head.
Who's Corvin?
He's their foreman, and a damn good one. The kind that knows how to deal with management when it gets unreasonable. But Olvend, his demands go beyond unreasonable. Corvin's been doing his best to appease him. He even blamed himself for my injury when it was Olvend who ordered the extra shifts.
Sounds like a good guy.
That's why we all put up with the long hours and lousy conditions. But if the whole mine becomes unstable, I'd rather suffer Olvin's wrath than die buried in rubble.
I could check in on your crew if I'm in the area.
I would appreciate that. Thank you.
someone round here worth talking to.
Maybe I should just
Sister!
Machines I can deal with. But there's some unruly storms looming far west. Let's hope they stay there.
Ho there!
Sorry, Red. We're closed.
Oi, slag.
Work hard enough, you can take my job one day, eh?
I'll have you know, I am the smartest man to
I
ever
have the
stand.
best
Exactly.
in all the knowledge.
Gotta move.
Come on, spit it out.
Move on, feet. Looking sharp as ever. What did your sister think of her gift?
Ah, Savior! Over here! Savior, thank you for taking the time, and my condolences that you had to endure Ulvant's bloviating.
I've dealt with worse. It sounds like he's really trying to put you over the barrel.
The idea that the Karja purposely let bristlebacks into the Daunt, it's completely absurd. But the louder and longer he says it, the more support he'll get for his damned concession decree.
How did the Bristlebacks get into the Daunt?
No one knows for sure. The first report of them came from west of the quarry. But unless they have wings I don't know about, I don't see how they could have come over the mountains.
No other way in.
The only way I know about is barren light. Look, if you can get to the bottom of this, I can offer a considerable bounty in return. Help me shut Ulvund up.
What is this concession decree that Ulvund wants?
He wants the Sundom to designate portions of the Daunt as Oseram holdings. Only the portions, mind you, that produce any value.
Let me guess. Because he stands to profit somehow?
Exactly. With the Daunt under Oseram law, he could secure more investment for their numerous ventures.
He can't get those investments without the concession?
No. Not while there's a chance the Sundom could revoke their access. Hence, why the concession is so important to him. And why blaming the Karja for the bristlebacks, no matter how absurd, works in his favor.
How does blaming the Karja for the bristlebacks help Ulvund get his concession?
Look around. This may be the Sundom, but Chainscrape is all gears and rust and bad ale. Claiming that the Karja loosed the bristlebacks in order to intimidate Oseram laborers into obedience. Well, let's just say no one here has forgotten the atrocities of the Mad Sun King. And with the bristlebacks bringing work in the valley to a halt, Ulvund has plenty of time to pick at barely healed wounds.
And if the Oseram refuse to work, unless the concession is signed, you won't have a choice.
Correct. The reconstruction of Barren Light must continue.
How did you get stuck out here?
I asked for the posting, believe it or not. Overseeing the entire valley on behalf of the Sun King? It was an honor. Is an honor, I mean.
But your job would be a lot easier without someone like Ulvund blasting hot air all the time?
Ulvund's not going anywhere. He's been around longer than I have. Even fancies himself the founder of Chainscrape. I'll find a way to live with him. I have to.
You said the bristlebacks were first spotted west of the quarry?
Yes, according to one terrified laborer, said the ground trembled before they came charging down the hillside. He took off and ran all the way here.
Good place to start looking, then.
If you learn the truth, maybe Ulvund will stop blaming the Karja for every problem under the sun, and maybe then he'll actually focus on rebuilding Barren Light instead. Yes. Something else?
I need to go.
Of course.
Almost ready to go?
If I find the right cauldron, where are you off to? Is that a tripwire? This whole area is rigged with tripwires. It's always something. Hold tight! I'll see what I can do!
Try luring them into the tripwire.
Machine's on to me. Should hit it with frost ammo. I can refill my pouch with these later. That's the last one.
Hello, Red. What a day, what a day.
Thank the Forge you showed up. Tripwire's handy, but machine hunting's a youngin's game. Come on over. Let me give thanks proper like. I see you're a practiced hunter. Took you less time to kill those scroungers than vanguards to kill one bristleback.
So the vanguards came through here?
Yeah, just a bit ago. Down that bristleback, headed south. But then those scroungers showed up to carve the carcass, as they do. Then another bristleback ran through. I'm telling you, it's crazy around here.
So the vanguard went south?
Probably. This whole valley is swarming with them. The vanguard seemed dead set on getting rid of them.
I see.
Hold on there, Red. If you're gonna go chasing across the Daunt, you're gonna want a tripcaster. Not just any tripcaster. One of my make. free of charge.
Workmanship looks solid enough.
Yep, been tweaking the design since I left Chain Scrape. More room to tinker out here and less chance of, well, accidents.
Cable car operator told me the bristlebacks just appeared yesterday. Do you know anything about them?
How is old Karn? Back in the day, me and him got into all sorts of trouble. There was this one time that...
Anything about the bristlebacks?
No. Karn said true. They just showed up and ran amok. Lucky for me, I've got you and the Vanguard swooping in time to time to save my backside.
Did something happen in Chain Scrape?
Well, like someone.
Let me guess. Olvend.
Back when I had a place in town, he took a real interest in my wares. Kept pressing for the Ulven discount. I said no. He didn't like that so much. I can't prove it, but that chuff bucket set my workshop on fire. Felt it best to put some distance between us after that.
I should get going. Thanks for the tripcaster.
While you're blasting bristlebacks, I think I'll head down to the hunting grounds. Did you know they have a tripcaster trial? Come by later if you want to try it out.
Maybe. After I get things under control. So Aaron headed south. Should be able to pick up his tracks with my focus. Tracks. Maybe Aaron's or Vanguard's. These bristlebacks are everywhere. It's a ruin from the old world. I could find something interesting inside.
Mighty thankful to you, Savior.
Just Aloy is fine.
Aaron mentioned you're not one for fancy titles.
You're Vanguard.
Well, here to escort Wadis's delegate behind to the embassy.
If we can get rid of these bristlebacks.
Captain said to keep an eye on Chain Scrape, then these ugly lugs showed up.
Gave the first one a good beating.
But didn't quite have time to roll out of the way when it fell.
Told you it wasn't a good idea to eat that much before heading out.
I should probably get going.
Now, if you see any more of these bristlebacks...
I'll make sure to roll out of their way.
Might want to take some of these with you as well. They're handy in a pinch.
Thanks.
Stay safe, Aloy. Come on. Time to get these machine carcasses to chain scrape.
That ought to be fun.
This ruin looks like it's barely holding together. There must be a way to get inside. Should be enough wild meat for motive. Sounds like someone's putting up a fight.